Hello, my name is Dia Sakai, and I'm Assistant Director for Education at the Center for the Enhancement of Teaching and Learning, CETL, at Georgia Tech. This video series on developing the teaching philosophy will be presented in 4 segments. Today's segment is on the introductory section to the teaching philosophy. I'm here today with Carol Sabino-Sullivan, who is the TA Development Coordinator for CETL, and Carol works quite a bit with students on developing the teaching philosophy. Carol, can you tell us a bit more about some of the qualities of a great teaching philosophy?
Sure, Dia. Thanks for having me today. And as you said, we're going to look at just the introductory paragraph, which is the instructor's opportunity to explain what is the learning goal for the students, what is most important about their discipline that they want students to get out of coming to their classes. And typically, the best introductory statements discuss this in 3 main dimensions. So the first is we get a sense of the instructor's motivation. What is the important element that they feel of their discipline that is just important to get out in all of their classes? What do they love about their discipline? What really motivates them about it? Secondly, is a very clear and specific explanation of what's important in the discipline. So what are the essential pieces of knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, and especially that last one seems to be most important for the introductory paragraph. And finally, getting a good sense of student development. So what is it that the instructor wants students to be able to do after this class, both in terms of their academic development and also their professional development, so moving them forward towards a career beyond college, and also their personal development. So how could this enhance their lives in general and maybe even enhance society?
Okay, sounds great. Can you share some examples of good teaching statements?
Sure. So I brought in a few examples for us to look at today, and these were created by graduate students at Georgia Tech, and they very graciously agreed to let us share them with others who are working on their teaching statements. So thank you. This first statement is from an instructor in math, and let me give you a moment to read through it. Okay, so what I really love about this introductory paragraph is that we get a good sense of what makes this instructor just love their discipline, what they believe is important about it. And we get that right here towards the end of the statement. The practical mathematics curriculum and practice of logical, quantitative problem solving is an invaluable way to improve their lives. So this instructor just clearly sees that math provide something to their students that nothing else quite can. And we also get a good sense of the arc of student development. So it starts out with an example of the instructor's conversation with the person on the street, right? So when I tell people that I'm studying mathematics, I almost always get the same reaction, a small shudder and a comment about how much they hate math. And then we move towards the end where the instructor takes us, as a teacher, I hope to make these skills accessible to all of my students as they grow from math phobia to engaged independent thinkers.
That sounds great. So you stress the importance of being discipline specific. So can you share something from another discipline?
Sure. I brought in another example from aerospace engineering. Please take just a couple moments to read through that one. Okay, so here we again start right from the beginning, right out of the gate, what this instructor believes is important about their discipline. As an engineer, I firmly believe in progress in society, a very important attitude to develop as a professional engineer. And this feeds directly into what their goal for their students are. I have an overarching goal for my students to feel the urge of improvement as a goal in and of itself. So the discipline connection couldn't be clearer. And we also get a very clear sense of what is their motivation for teaching. I would like to improve society as a whole by providing it with better tools, but also by educating its members. Therefore, it's not just going to help students gain careers, but it's much bigger than that. It's actually going to improve the quality of society.
Sounds great.
Yes.
So clearly these are a result of several iterations of the drafts of the teaching statement.
Absolutely.
So are you able to share with us some examples that are earlier on in the process and some common errors?
Yes. So thankfully, I'm very thankful to the students who agreed to share early drafts so that we can help show others what some common errors are and make suggestions for how to move it towards these more polished versions. So this first example from electrical and computer engineering, please take a moment to read through that. So the common error from this draft is that the goals are not very specific to the discipline. Instead, they're just about these broad ideas about teaching in general. So here in the middle of the sentence we read, it is not about the help you want to give, but about what they need from you. And while it is important to meet students where they are, we really need to understand what does that mean within the context of electrical and computer engineering. We also don't get a sense of what is this instructor's passion for their field. We kind of get a hint that they had some early personal experience that really spurred them on. But I would suggest that this instructor, let us into some of the details. What was that experience? Let us know, what is your passion for your field?
Okay, sounds great. How about one more final example on common errors?
Yeah. So I've got another one from civil engineering. Please take a moment to read through that. So I chose this one because it's got a slightly different error than the other one. Here, we do get a sense for the instructor's passion for their fields. In fact, they say, I was just excited to bring my passion for civil engineering and the design of transportation infrastructure to the classroom. However, the instructor doesn't quite move that passion into a good sense of the learning goals for the students. Instead, the goals are, again, more about teaching in general and almost self-directed rather than for the student development. We hear at the end, education is an apprenticeship for teaching how to think as well as new skills. Students are a heterogeneous group of learners, and flexibility is the key to a successful classroom. Those are important attitudes about teaching, but it doesn't tell us very much about how students learn about civil engineering in this instructor's classroom.
Okay, sounds great. So can you tell us a little bit more, tell our audience a bit more about what students should take with them in terms of making those first steps to start to craft the teaching statement?
Sure, I'm going to post below the video a couple of guides to help writers get started with their teaching statements. That should help you start to think through these three dimensions about motivation, discipline specific, and student development. And just one final thought I want to leave you with is that think about this introductory paragraph as the thesis statement. Lay out what is it you want your students to learn, and later on you'll get the chance to explain how you go about teaching this, what evidence have you gotten that students are actually learning what you want, but that'll come later in the paragraph, in the statement rather. Don't feel like you have to cram it all in right at the beginning.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
You're welcome.